Welcome back, gamers. Today I'm going to review Anno 2205. This review is going to be about 20 hours in. I've been playing since yesterday. If you are an Anno 2070 fan, you're a hardcore veteran and you're planning to jump into this game, you might as well want to watch a review or two before you do that, because this isn't exactly the same game anymore. Now, as you start up the game, there's going to be 3 different temperate maps you could choose from. Each of the map has its own mission that you can partake on to get rewarded for. The map that you choose will be the one you stay on the entire game. The other ones get controlled by the AI. You can, however, buy them back from the AI once you earn enough credits. The maps themselves, however, are not randomized, so they're always the same maps. You'll be presented with 3 different temperate zones that you can build your colony on. Starting off, there's going to be 3 different areas of the world that you can build on in 3 maps each. You'll build in the temperate zones, an Arctic zone, and the lunar zone. There's 3 different difficulty types. The first one is the easiest mode for people who just want to build stuff and learn the system of the new game. The advanced mode is for people who want a bankruptcy backup in case you go bankrupt, and then you have the hardest mode, which will game over for you if you hit the negative deficit. Each of the map in the game is pretty spacious and big. Some of them have little islands that you can also build on. You can build multiple cities in them. As you can see, the game stuttered a little bit on the camera cutscene. It could have been an optimization issue or a bug. I don't know which one it is. I am using a Titan X. However, I had no problem with the game itself. It ran fine, but just the little cutscenes itself caused me to stutter a bit, so hopefully they'll patch that up. Starting off, you can see that the game is now very beautiful. The graphic is certainly updated in this version of the game. The aesthetics and the map themselves looks gorgeous, and the other thing is that you'll notice the interface is very sleek and clean now. Another thing I want to mention is that if you explore the buttons on the game, on the bottom right, you click on that, you can actually turn on day and night, which a lot of players miss out on. So there is a day and night system in the game. I guess they leave it off as default because you can't really see as much at night, but it is, however, beautiful to look at when you turn that on. The music of the game never fails in Anno. They never fall behind each other. The music in this one is also pretty relaxing and calm and also epic at times, so I really enjoy the music to the game. Getting down to the gameplay of the game, which is the most important part, the game itself has changed a lot. They got rid of some of the systems from 2070. The one system I really miss the most is the ability to choose what faction buildings you want to build, and also some of the management system that was in the original. They did implement the game with new systems that is definitely worthy. One of the systems I really liked that was hectic in 2070 is the ability to move buildings. You don't get to do that in 2070. You had to tear down your buildings and your placements just to put a statue in the middle of town, so that was really hectic at times. The ability to move buildings around is really nice for the game because in case you mess up or something, you don't always have to demolish it. You can always just move it to wherever you want. Another thing I want to compliment the game on is that it's an open-ended campaign system, so you're not restricted to the campaign. You can do other stuff, and once you finish the campaign, you can continuously play the game, so that's a really nice touch to the game. As you look around the map and mountains and the coastal areas, you'll notice there are pre-placement areas now in the game. The reason for this is you can only place certain buildings there now. You can't just really place them because the reason is that it can actually break the way the system of the game works. Unfortunately, that's the way it works for some of the resources in the game. So pre-placement systems for certain buildings in the game. The materials in the game are infinity. There isn't a limited number of them. As long as you have the building, as long as there's workers in them, and as long as you have energy, you're okay, or the credit to support it. The other thing is that as you play the game, you'll notice it's a little bit simple. To understand the game, what you have to do is gather the materials, keep the people happy, go to tier 2, they require this amount of materials, and so on. Now, the thing that makes this complex is when you start doing high density cities. The thing I found out is that once I got to the high density end game content 20 hours later, things can get a bit crazy when you have plans and you wanted things to work the way you planned it to work. Unfortunately for me, I hit the 6-digit deficit at the end game because I was building massive cities and I was doing massive amount of work on it in 20 hours ending my game. So I'm going to try to fix that back up, but it's going to be really hard because the bankrupt is constantly kicking in, so I'm in a huge amount of debt. Right, so where are you getting all these resources in the game? The game offers resources throughout, not just the area you're in, but also to the area you're going to play in. As you advance the campaign and play through missions, you'll also notice that there are side missions you can do, some of which can be quite fun, some of which are a bit of a drag, but they do offer rare materials for you to build modular buildings, which is very nice because it cuts down efficiency of energy, maintenance, or workers, etc. order to earn these materials, you can actually go through it to 3 different ways. You can buy from the market, which is around the map. You just have to click on the building and you buy it from the seller, or you can actually do the missions themselves that appear on the map. Just click on the NPCs, do the mission, and you'll earn those. Or what you can do is take place in the combat in the game. Yes, this game does have combat. The mission and combat in this game is very arcadey for me. It was an instance. Basically, you accept the quest, you go in an instance, and you farm materials. You are given a preset amount of ships, and as you progress and play the game, you'll earn more ships. You get to upgrade those ships also and add additional ships. They can get really challenging later on, but again, they are for collecting and farming materials, especially the rare materials, to help upgrade the modular buildings. The other thing is, just like the regular map, you'll be given missions also inside these instances. The NPCs around will give you missions that you can do on the map that will give you materials. So basically, it's not a rare material at all too much. You can always earn it in 3 different ways. So it's really easy to earn those rare materials for the modular buildings. Also, keep in mind that the combat in this game is completely optional. You can actually go through the other 2 ways to earn the rare materials if you want to. Now, getting back on the gameplay, as you know, you need resources to keep your people happy. So as you advance through the game, do the campaign, you're not going to find all the resources you need in one area of the game. So you're going to have to play in another part of the world. This is where the Arctic map kicks in. You'll choose one of the 3. Again, same deal. You're going to go to the Arctic zone, and you'll notice the rules is completely different a bit. In terms of building placements, you can't just plop down a settlement anymore in the Arctic. No, it's very cold, so you have to build factories first, and then you build settlements around them. You could use modular buildings to extend the heat, but other than that, it changes up the gameplay a little bit. It makes it a little bit more tough and uses a lot more credit when building these buildings, because the people also requires different resources to live here. So you're going to have to gather different resources before you climb to the next set of resources that is needed in the other cities. Once you finish collecting enough materials and do trade between the cities, it's a really easy system to do tradings. You don't actually see it. You go through a menu, you click what to trade between who or the market, and your routes open up as you level in the game or upgrade the spaceport. When you level up in the game, you get to hold more materials, etc., because you're going to need all you can for the lunar base landing. Since on the moon, it's going to be very expensive. So once you update your spaceport, you can go ahead and make your way to the moon. Again, same deal with the Arctic zone. Now the rule changes a bit for the settlement buildings and buildings in general. You have to build shield generator. You can, however, place buildings outside of it. It'll work, but the unfortunate problem is it'll probably get destroyed. Overall, it's a fun place to visit. It's a cool area of the game, and it's the final destination spot. So you choose one of the 3 areas. You're going to build on the moon. You can only build inside these areas, and you're going to have to gather different materials once again for the people up here. You can also, via trade, send materials up here, but you also require to send 1 materials and some other materials back down to Earth. This is also that you can advance the game and build tier 4 buildings in the game, which looks amazing, by the way, if you get there, but the only problem is upkeeping it. So that's basically the whole game itself. It's just resource management. You manage this resource, you manage that resource, and if you run out of a certain resource, you're gonna go into the negative resources, and the game punishes you pretty heavily on that, so you have to make sure that you have some in storage if you can. The other thing is that if you break a road, etc., by accident or something, you can get really punished for that too, so you got to be extra careful. And your tradings also expire, so you have to choose if you want to continue trade or not. Anyways, guys, that is the entire system of the game. It's pretty much a resource management game. It can be a little bit addictive. If you're a casual gamer, you'll probably like it a lot. If you're an advanced gamer of city sim building, you're going to be like, oh, it's pretty shallow. Unfortunately, it doesn't offer much than that to challenge yourself in the game. Really, you have to build high density buildings. That is the end game content of the game. If you can build tier 4 buildings, you are amazing, especially if you do it on the hardest difficulty, because that is the challenge itself. Unfortunately, I do feel like the game did kind of push itself out the door too soon. There could have been a lot more to it, but it seems like they're saving it for DLCs and other expansions which might come out, because that's what they're probably aiming for. It's Ubisoft, you never know. I remember in Anno 2070 that the expansions made the game a lot better also. I like the expansions in the original, so I'm hoping that they will add more content through the expansion. It's unfortunate upset that they didn't add it to the core of the game. It felt like they just basically started over, made a new game. They wanted to see people's opinion on the game. It kind of reminded me like what happened with Civ 4. You know, Civ 4 came out, people went apeshit over it because it was really, you know, a startup game, and then as they added expansions, etc., the game got better and better. So this is what I'm hoping to see from the game itself. Unfortunately, not a lot of people are digging this game. There's half of people that do and then half that don't. It's all up to you guys. Check out more videos on the game and watch more gameplays before you decide. So that's pretty much my review for Anno 2205. It doesn't have multiplayer, and for replayability you can only play the 3 maps again, but you can choose between them. You'll probably get a couple hours out of it if you like this type of game and you like resource management. However, if you're looking for something else to play, check out Cities Skyline. You will like it a lot. Trust me, I play a lot of that. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Game on, and remember to like and subscribe.